It is the 22nd of February 2021. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us here on Pan-African Television. This is the Midday News coming to you live from our studios here at Abelin, P number 48, Wanaka Street. We are also streaming live on Facebook and across 46 neighboring countries via satellite. My name is Makiza, Micheline Latifa. Top of the news bulletin this afternoon. And Supreme Court hears petitioner's review application to reopen case. Also coming up, over 25 houses in renewed chieftaincy conflict at Yondapem-Yili in the northern region burnt. And residents of Abokobi threaten showdown with the East Municipal Assembly over deplorable roads. Ahead in business, government schedules payment of cocoa farmers after months of neglect. We've got details of these and many more stories coming up shortly. Please do stay. Now let's do our very first story. And the petitioner in the ongoing election 2020 petition hearing has opened his legal argument to reopen his case. Let's hear experts of the argument.
Was per incuriam section 72 of the Evidence Act 1975 and has occasioned a grave miscarriage of justice. There's no question that in your Lordship's ruling, there is no reference whatsoever to Section 72 of the Evidence Act. Instead, there is a reference to Black's Law Dictionary, which is an English law text. No reference is made to Section 72 of the Evidence Act. Section 72 of the Evidence Act is a statute of Ghana. No reference is made to that. And instead, there is a reference made to an English law textbook, which is not what is binding on your Lordships. That is why we say respectfully that that decision was per incuriam, Section 72 of the Evidence Act. And my lords, the authorities are clear, and we have cited Republic against Tete, which is 2003-2004, Supreme Court of Ghana Law Reports 140, where their lordships in the Supreme Court reversed a unanimous decision that they themselves had given, and they reversed that decision on the basis that they had failed to take into account the Armed Forces regulations. Don't need to show further that there is a miscarriage of justice. The failure to apply a statute of the law of Ghana is enough of a miscarriage of justice in accordance with the decision Republic and Tete. Ground B says that the ruling was in fundamental error in subjecting statutory provisions in the Evidence Act to the provisions of subsidiary legislation. My lords, then again, nothing could be more basic. Nothing could be more basic than the fact that a statute is superior to subsidiary legislation. The Rules of Court Committee are not of a higher standing than the Parliament of Ghana. And so when you have a judicial decision of the highest court of the land effectively subjecting Parliament's law to the Rules of Court Committee, that is fundamental.
Mr. Chikata,
yes.
Are you suggesting that CIs do not go to Parliament?
CIs go to Parliament. They go to Parliament in a different way from how statutes go to Parliament. That is why the Constitution makes a distinction between the exercise of powers by people such as the Electoral Commission, who take the CIs to Parliament, and if there's no objection, it goes through. That is a different process from a statute, which is an act of Parliament which overrides subsidiary legislation. My lords, there can't be any question. And if your lordships have an issue with that, I'm afraid that that is just fundamental error.
Exercise of our discretion, which prefaces the section that you read.
Lord, those are not the terms of the ruling. The terms of the ruling that your lordships gave, the terms of your ruling are very clear. And unless the ruling is being rewritten, the terms are very clear. Namely that the evidence section 20, we wish to state that, this is on page 10 of the ruling, we wish to state emphatically that section 26 of the Evidence Act, which is on conclusive presumption, is not applicable in this case in view of Order 38, Rule 3A5.
You had closed your case. What did you mean?
Nothing more, nothing less. We had closed our case. And when we announced that we are seeking to reopen our case, I mean exactly that, nothing more, nothing less. We are seeking leave to reopen our case in circumstances where a person who has deposed to affidavit saying she will be available for cross-examination, and where your ladyship specifically had intimated that the questions that we're seeking to raise in interrogatories could be asked of her in cross-examination. I'm sure your ladyship has not forgotten that bridge. And in that context, your ladyship had said that aren't we crossing a bridge that we have not got to? And we indicated that at the stage of interrogatories, we still found it appropriate to anticipate that. But your ladyship said the bridge will be there. That bridge is no longer there.
When you said that you had closed your case and you meant it, nothing more, nothing less, what did you mean?
I really don't understand what more your ladyship wants by way of an answer. We meant that we had closed our case. And we had closed our case, and subsequently we sought leave.
We are vehemently opposed to this application for review number 3. Lord, you have filed an affidavit in opposition as well as a statement of case, and we rely on it. Laws under Article 33(1) of the Constitution, this court may review 133(1), my lords, 133(1) of the Constitution. This court may review any decision made or given by it on such grounds and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed by the rules of court. Also, even the Constitution recognizes.
Now that was excerpt of the ongoing election petition where the lead counsel for the petitioner, Chachu Chikata, argued his case to reopen the petitioner's case. Now, and away from the Supreme Court, 4 persons have been picked up by the police in connection with the burning of some houses at Yondatemyili in the Tamale metropolis.
A combined team of police and the military, led by the Northern Regional Police Commander DCOP Sabunga, visited the community to assess the situation. About 25 have so far been burnt, including a mosque. Sources say a misunderstanding between 2 chiefs over the ownership of a parcel of land resulted in the recent conflict, leading to the torching of several houses. Northern Regional Police Commander DCOP Sabunga said the command will put in all efforts to arrest all those involved in the attack.
Yes, we came this morning based on last night reports that we received. Last night we had a report that there was some firing of guns and burning of houses in this area. The patrol teams made up of police and military responded to the distress call But I'm afraid when they came, these places were already on fire, and the people bolted. They called in the fire service, who came and helped to put off the fire, but most of the places, the damage has already been caused. So this morning, we thought it wise to come and see the place for ourselves. So I'm here, you can see the CO 6BN with me, with our teams. We have gone around, seeing the destruction that has been done, but unfortunately we don't have people to talk to. So we see, we'll go back and then place intelligence on the ground to see how we can get information that will help us lead to those who came and caused this damage, and then get them arrested to face the law.
From the Northern Region, Brahim Abdul Majid's report for Pan-African Television News.
Now, the 25 houses were burnt as a result of misunderstandings between two chiefs in Yondatamyili. But let's move away from that and do some human interest stories where residents of Abokobi and its environs in the Ga East Municipal Assembly are threatening a massive showdown with authorities if the Ga East Municipal Assembly fails to complete construction of the Agbodba-Abokobi Road. According to residents, the bad nature of the road poses serious health threat, and pleas to get authorities to complete construction has fallen on deaf ears. Stretches from Agbodba and connect Abokobi to other parts of Ga East, including the Pantan Psychiatry Hospital. The stretch has been in a deplorable state for several years, which, according to residents, has affected socio-economic activities in the area. The road, according to residents, has become a political ballgame used to deceive residents to vote for government, but abandoned after elections.
I've been here for almost 15 years now. There is nothing happening. But about 2 years ago, that they started to clear the road, and last year, that they came and then started working on the gutters, and in fact that has been the issue. Yes, we've I would say about 2 weeks ago we've been to the DC's office to present a petition to her, and she has assured us that something will be done. So we are only waiting to see what will be done, and that is it.
Residents say before the election period, construction of drains started at a fast pace but was abandoned after the elections, making commuting almost impossible anytime it rained.
Kwame here my so Kwame to here we say ubenya bibi kakra so bia so 3 weeks now koto budget no so we guys we bia no hwe say bedu 1 month no makoto ana oja say is a benefit no.
Of most concern and worry to residents is the dusty nature of the road, which they say has become a nuisance and unbearable.
Enti unyama nyina workshop mu nyina de bia ye fi ye pipa hu de bia be ba bia pipa no pa na enwumre nti sa ban ti a ye stress on me ni na on be ye ma han ye fe eya ye ti because futo ne koye huni mu koye asumu nyina enti ya de bia na hu se ye bo wa de bia na ye huni mu nyina ye we basa enti aban wa ye so to a han nyina ye pasa ba chaka.
What we are experiencing now is too much dust. If you are in the room, too much dust. Wherever you are, too much dust. So, you know, when there is too much dust, where we might be ill, it brings a lot of problems in terms of health conditions. And so that is our problem over here.
Those who use the road, the bad nature of the road is affecting business and are blaming the Ga East Municipal for using the road for political gain.
7 years now, yeah. Yes. It's been for a long time. Oh, we have one of government appointees here He's one of the gurus and in NPP. He's down here. He's the one that having this contract that they are doing. That's it. In fact, the road is very bad, that one there. And even when it rains, it's difficult for us to pass here. Even especially down there, very, very difficult for us to pass here. Yeah. Oh, we are pleading the authorities to come and help us because, in fact, when it rains, to pass here is very difficult. So please, we are pleading the authorities to come and help us because we, the people who are here, we don't have the money to do the road. So we are pleading the government to come and help us.
Please, your name. The movement, you know. A hard drink, a hard drink. Unze cars, the obese, a quanya, or cano, where they are.
And those were some residents and drivers at Abokobi calling on the government to fix the deplorable state of the road network in the area. But let's still stay on roads as construction of the road leading to the Jasikan District Assembly in the Oti region have been abandoned, leading to several road crashes. Some youth in the area are threatening protest if the construction is not completed.
Construction commenced in November in the head-up to the 2020 general election. According to residents in the area, works was however abandoned during the Christmas festivities and has since not resumed. The situation, according to residents in the area, has led to several road crashes. The assemblyman for the area says the situation is dangerous and threat to lives and property.
We were here somewhere last year. Somewhere October, November, we had a notice that there's going to be construction of town roads, that's the Jessica and the district capital roads. Yes, we were there, the contractor came around, started excavating the area for the gutters, and before December, everything just stalled. Until now, we cannot even locate the contractor. And you can see for yourself the way the town is. It's really, really in a mess. And as Jasikan capital, the capital, we have 4 assembly members. We went for a meeting to also look at the way forward about how we can do to at least take away the debris from the road. Only for us to realize that on Monday morning, the road has been blocked by some unscrupulous personalities, which we don't even know of. But still, we are investigating to know the people who did that.
Some residents who spoke to the news team noted that the abandoned project affecting socio-economic situation in the area.
I think before the pre-elections, they just came to do some construction works at Jessica here. So we were thinking that it will bring something, meaningful. But at the end of the day, they dug the gutters, left them, and then it has even made the town youth to be very aggressive. Recent times, they even blocked the way to heading towards this assembly that people shouldn't pass there as a result of their hunger.
As a youth, we are not happy with the nature of our road. The road were blocked some days ago, and then it caused a lot of controversies. And then I think some people are happy with it, some people are also not happy with it. But as for me, as a citizen, I'm happy with it because having the road like this has caused a lot of accidents and stuff. So we need to block the road and then have the attention of the authorities so that they come to our aid and then fix the road. Because looking at the nature of the road like this, as you can see, it's not nice. Even just this morning, there was an accident right here. And looking at the road, business has been slowed.
Right, that most definitely is a very worrying situation in JASIC, and Pan-African Television will keep highlighting some of these problems to get the attention of government. But away from that story, traffic light failure has been an issue of concern by Ghanaians over the years. These traffic lights, which were mounted on various busy roads in the country to help drivers and pedestrians to use the road with ease, is now a death trap due to their malfunction, causing more harm than good.
In January 2019, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoakwata, revealed that the issue of traffic light failures will become a thing of the past by June of that same year. But after 2 years, it is still a challenge for the Ghanaian society. So many road accidents leading to death have been recorded over years due to traffic light failure. Government has paid no attention to the situation, which is a worry to drivers, pedestrians, and in some instances, led to road accidents. Owusu, a suburb of Accra, has been battling with this challenge for some time, which led to a demonstration last year. The municipal chief executive responded and work began, but was not completed.
Edi ese mba be ye ni omo frusro ha e try we ni nyina e ko ye se light no e so e kakra na se we sada no na afi do omo ko e kire no ye hu omo bio omo ko ya hu omo bio na ti sada no mba se ni agie no so mba ya ma me chi ase omo betutokro e fa pipeline bi fa mu ni ade nyina e ma nkrofo frusro ho no mu nyina omo testi ye so fiti sada no mo ye omo ko ye no omo amba he bio ye hu omo bio. Accident in India, Mr. Bebre. Every week, be a sharp careful. I say no. I say every week, be a best 3 days be accident. See, 3 days be accident. See, even more proper. Even more so can say, even more so back. There will be cry. If I be no cry, we. Until traffic need a slam. Some of them will be my idea. Now because your market wants to go school, one pound tremo, and no crying here. Omucho wa we say tell bi ha cars ni twom kola ni gina kwase cars ni be gina kwa mu gina ma omu tesa na ofo ne emu chichie it is very road very dangerous for accident there and the proper make every week be accident we city say 3 times.
I think we were having some street light and things, and within some 6 months we started having problems with the street light. Ever since that thing happened, we have been having several accidents frequently. At times, car can go from this particular junction to this point. Each and every, within a week, can have some, a couple of accidents, in which I think if we, the traffic light is being solved and the street lights are being solved for us, I think we'll be okay in this environment.
Some were left unfixed, which is causing discomfort to the people. It has become a worry to the pedestrians and traders at Owusu, and they are calling on the government and stakeholders to assist in fixing the traffic light for easy access of the road.
The traffic light need a new juma. I'm comfortable. You won't say I'm comfortable to say, your friend say, we know, but at the end of the day, no, the beer cost you who say, be omo beko no asa omo befa ye kokwasa sa omo beko no eno anu ye ntihwe biem aha de akwan we so de meka se enka everyday bia akwansia esi wo kwan we so because kwan no aha say na sharp curve and a highway so the speed cars no the speed pa na eba and traffic nye adwuma ye street light no so enye adwuma kwan na emfifi no so afu enti car ba hardly so be who say obi po air cross kwan no because kwan emu afu it hardly so be who kwan be who na omanti bi kwan we dey accident dey empower so that
to me I think say this traffic like there's a problem on it, because if you repair them today another day too it go spoil. So me for that one I think the government or the peoples they have to change the traffic light for us in others. So say many people don't know say like this traffic we know they work. And these two have a sharp curve here. So many drivers too, if they like come from NIC where they come over speed. And over speed too, you know say vehicles. So many people are standing where we there here, you go see say accident go happen. Many people go down, so far cars to go hit some people. Moreover, I know if you talk all these kind of things. And sometimes too, the fault comes from the drivers. Some speed where the driver will go on, if you be science students, have enough you calculate.
The issue is not different from Achimota Abofu, where some of the traffic lights are not working. The ones that work are not consistent, and they just go off at any time, which sometimes lead to a traffic congestion. This situation makes it difficult for pedestrians to cross the road, especially students. Residents of Awoshi are threatening another massive protest if government turns a deafening ear to their plight. From Awoshi, Akane Bright Meyerson reports for Pan-African TV News.
Well, wrapping up on the local fronts, the Concerned Drivers Association have withdrawn the decision to increase transport fares by 10%. The association had announced the increment due to hike in fuel prices, but the association at a press briefing said consultations with other transport unions and adverse effect of the COVID-19 pandemic led them to rescind their decision.
The secretary of the association in a media engagement attributed the decision to withdraw the increment in transport fares to broader consultations with the Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRTU. According to them, the decision was made in light of the economic hardship posed by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Last Monday, we issued a press release that we wanted to increase our fares, but due to one or two circumstances, we are taking a different position. And therefore, we are bringing you a press this morning to counter the previous announcement that we made. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana issued a press release announcing a 10% increment of passengers' fare coming Monday, 22nd February 2021. This decision was backed up by an increment of some tariff imposed at the DVLA and the ports. Ladies and gentlemen, upon consultation with some various stakeholders, including the GPRTU national executives, the increment scheduled for Monday, 22nd of February, has been withheld until further notice. Although there have been several hikes of prices on spare parts, lubricants and some taxes at the DVLA, but we are taking into consideration the hardship which the ordinary Ghanaians and some government workers are bearing currently as far as the COVID-19 is concerned.
On his part, the representative of the GPRTU said both groups will ensure that any future increment will be based on the considerations of clients who use commercial transport services for their daily endeavors.
I'm representing GPRTU. Our brothers really came up with an announcement that coming Monday there will be an upward adjustment in lorry fares by 10%. Yes, it is their fundamental right to do that. Really, the components we use in running transport have really shot up across board. But we consulted and pleaded with them that, yes, my brothers, we believe the timing is not right. So let's dialogue, let's see what we can do so that the next time we'll come up like Akai, descend on everybody. They really listened to us, they heard us, and they really taking the advice that they have to rescind that 10% reduction.
Meanwhile, in an interview with the secretary of the association, he warned that efforts will be made to vehemently oppose steps taken by the Road and Highways Ministry to increase road tolls if he is made minister for the sector.
This is the question. We are asking the minister that since 10 years ago that toll was increased, what has been the benefit on the increment which was given us 10 years ago? There haven't been a single road. Let's use Tamamoto as an example. You can see a lot of photos on it. So what are they doing about that road? And now you are coming to tell us that you are going to increase the toll. However, for that one, we are not going to agree with him. Not at all. We are not going to agree with the minister designate hope it hasn't been approved yet, and we are praying that it should be approved. But what we can assure him is that we are not going to allow him to increase the toll. It is simple as it be. Well, if you could remember, that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we came out with a press release that drivers and mates shouldn't allow passengers without masks to enter their bus, and it is still going. We are still doing the sensitization, we are still doing the education, and we hopefully, Ghanaians will adopt to it, and then we will obey the rules and regulations as far as the protocols are concerned, so that we can curb this COVID-19 brouhaha.
Well, that most definitely is some good news for passengers. But away from that, the Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security, Nana Amoisi VII, has attributed the huge energy sector debt to poor strategy, poor procurement services, political interferences, among others. Further commenting on the measures that could be implemented to reverse the problem, he stressed that the country needs to get its priorities right and ensure a balance in the projection of supply and demand. He spoke in an interview with Kwesi Pratt Jr. on Pan-African Television.
That's why you could project that if one's careful, by 2023, we'll be looking at somewhere around $12 billion. What are the contributing factors to this? Mr. Pratt? Poor strategy, poor procurement services, technical losses in the transmission and distribution chain, political interference is also a factor, and many others. And so all these things bring about cost to us. Let me use the recent debt we have been slapped with, the judgment that we've been slapped with as a country. There's absolutely nothing wrong going for renegotiation when market conditions have changed and you want to bring about some savings. However, remember that you've signed an agreement and there's a termination clause. And termination comes with penalty. If even you're going for renegotiation, remember that the seller of the power is not obligated to concede. We sat down, we watched one minister came and said, we are extending Ameri for 15 years and we will make savings of about $400 million thereabouts. In our computation, we realized that we're going to make a loss of over $1 billion over the period. When we're left with just about 2.5 years to own the Ameri plant ourselves. We extended it for 15 years. It's just by civil society and some of you that were able to stop this. So all these things will have added on to the debts in the sector. So some of these things should be taken care of. Then we should find a way to heal the technical losses in the transmission and distribution. Unfortunately, all the power plants, almost all the power plants major that we have are planted down south in the western region or in Tema. And we have to show them all the way to the north. That long distance that I have to move will definitely have losses. And it keeps on increasing day in, day out. These are some of the things we do.
Still watching the midday news here on Pan-African Television with me, Makiza, Micheline, Latifa. But that's all we have for you on the local fronts. Business news is up next. Please don't go away.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Hello?
Oh, Sisiana sound.
Okay, wait a minute. Why? Hey, my wife comes and send a message you. You're supposed to be on my free. Hello? You know, oh, What's happened?
It's a chunk, but also be a quiet say what? A dear sir.
Beside friend of fair, I'm so here. You are not testing messages here. And our officer, so I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a diamond and may young who could look rare. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Danso, ye be Friday 0240 333 111 and now says 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool on me fee. Me want to will be family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fashion yana say?
Me out with that.
And nothing I decided Truman capsules and so at their brain. I can't think of what's a good deal to me, dear Michi.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you so much for staying. In the world of business, the Minister-designate for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Ifriye Akuto, has disclosed that government will commence payments to cocoa farmers on Monday, February 22nd, 2021. The Minister-designate hinted that the central bank is collaborating with Cocoa Board to raise funds to pay license buying companies. Taking his stand before the appointment committee for vetting, Dr. Ifriye Akuto explained that the payment had delayed due to the drop in demand for cocoa.
It has been a very unfortunate situation in the past month or two. And it's because of the peculiar nature of the cocoa industry. COVID has hit the centers of chocolate consumption, that's in America and the in Europe. So demand for chocolate and for that matter cocoa beans has gone down. Arrangements that we have made with the foreign banks to finance our operations are dependent upon the number of contracts that we are able, in other words, the amount of cocoa that we can sell. As a guarantee to these foreign bankers that to release the tranches. For the first time in I don't know how many years, it has not been possible for us to sell enough contracts to enable the last tranche of about $190 million to be released. In fact, if you compare the amount of contracts that had been sold out this year compared to the same period last year, we are down. We're really down by nearly 1/3, which means that the decline in demand for cocoa beans by the chocolatiers and the processors, which is a result of the COVID, the lockdown in Western Europe and in America, is really affecting our operations here. So by now, before the end of the year, normally we should have had enough contracts for the release of the whole amount of $1.3 billion. Unfortunately, we couldn't sell that fast. So now that we have the contracts sold, we are expecting that coming week, early next week, the last tranche of $190 million will be with us, and then we can pay for all the outstandings of cocoa, and that issue will be behind us. In the meantime, the central bank is cooperating very closely with Cocoa Board to give them some bridging facility to help some of the LBCs to pay for the cocoa that they had taken from the farmers. So that's how far we are in the situation with the LBCs and cocoa farmers.
And those were some comments from the Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture when he took his turn at the voting. But away from that, the interbank CD, let's look at the interbank CD performance against some of the major currencies. And the dollar is buying at 5.755 and selling at 5.761. The pound is buying at 8.068 and selling at 8.077. And the euro is buying at 6.978 and selling at 6.985. The naira is buying at 68.492 and selling at 68.579. And the sefa is buying at 93.906 and selling at 93.998. And this is the forex rate as at today, February 22nd, 2021. That's all we have for you in the world of business. International news is up next.
Well, Donald Trump lost the election and he actually incited the people that they should overturn the election. They said it was an insurrection. When it happens in America, it was an insurrection. When it happens in Ghana, you're cool. Something similar happened in Ghana. Was that an insurrection or were they trying to coup? Okay, folks, the idea is to make Ghana television great again. So you can catch this show on Pan-African TV Friday evenings at 9 p.m. And if you miss it, you can grab it on Sundays at 2 p.m. Making entertainment great again.
The KSM Show.
Now on the international front, on February 16, Tuesday, Catalan police raided the University of Lleida and forcefully arrested Spanish rapper and poet Pablo Hasél, who was barricaded inside, resisting his imminent arrest. Hasél, who was unwilling to surrender, locked himself inside the university and was guided by his supporters.
On January 27, the Spanish National Court, Audiencia Nacional, served a notice to Hasél asking him to surrender within 10 days to face imprisonment on charges of glorifying terrorism, insulting the crown and state institutions. Hundreds of people had mobilized around the University of Lleida in solidarity with Pablo Hasél. Pablo Rivadula Duro, known as Pablo Hasél, is popular for his political songs and poems, which are often critical of the Spanish authorities and the right wing in the country. Since 2011, Hasél has been accused in several cases, including for allegedly praising communist leaders and terrorist groups in his works and tweets, attacking far-right groups and insulting the crown and state institutions. In March 2018, Hasél was sentenced to a 2-year prison term and a fine of €24,300. His conviction was recently approved by the higher courts, which rejected his appeal. Hasél had declared that he would not volunteer himself up for imprisonment and that the authorities will have to forcefully arrest him. Progressive sections in Spain and around the world have denounced the persecution of Pablo Hasél by the state authorities. Arit Rodriguez Galan, the president of the World Federation of Democratic Youth, has tweeted that the arrest of Pablo Hasél shows that if you protest, you will suffer the same thing. The repression inherent in this system will not stop us. In Spain and worldwide, we will struggle against those who want to make us pay for the economic and health crisis. Many organizations, including the Communist Youth in Spain, Communist Youth of Catalonia, etc., protested Pablo Hasél's arrest.
Credit goes to our international partners, the People's Dispatch, but that's all we have for you on the international front. Sports news follows shortly. And in sports, Accra Hearts of Oak grabbed the maximum points as they edged Ebusuya Dwarfs 3-2 in a match day 15 encounter of the Ghana Premier League played at the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday. Dwarfs nearly secured a point after coming back from 2 goals, but Mensah's instinctive strike was enough for Hearts, who ended their 4-game wellness blip, to move them into a middle table position.
Hearts were on the front foot right from the blast of the whistle as they searched for the early lead and were awarded a penalty in the 6th minute by referee Jones Ekubem after Dwarfs goalkeeper Razak Issa was adjudged to have fouled Patrick Razak. Victor Edu stepped up and struck home from the penalty spot to give Hearts the lead. Hearts were in the mood for more goals and were awarded a second penalty by referee Akubem after Simon Mate brought down Patrick Razak in the penalty box. Edu stepped up once again and struck the ball into the net to give Hearts the cushioned goal. Drafts, on the other hand, struggled to create any goal scoring chances with Hearts resolute in their defense. But Moro, Somalia, pulled the goal back for Ebusuya Dwarfs right at the end of the first half to set up a fascinating second half encounter. Dwarfs started the second half a more determined side and were the better side in the opening minutes as they searched for an equalizer. Seydou Abubakar nearly restored parity for the away side, but his efforts at goal could only find the side net. The Phobias couldn't hold onto their lead as referee Jones awarded the away side a penalty in the 78th minute after Larry Somalia's rushed challenge on Moro Somalia in the penalty box. Captain for the Drafts, Dennis Kosa, stepped up and scored from the penalty spot to put them on level pair.
Still on sports, talented Ghanaian footballer Abdul Mumin Mohammed has joined Portuguese giant FC Porto on loan until the end of the season. The 18-year-old joins the club from Ghanaian side Charity Stars FC.
Abdul, on completing his move, said it is a good step for his career and will sacrifice and work hard to be successful. He was effusive of praise for the Portuguese side, stressing that they are a good club with a history of producing world-class talents. He further expressed belief in himself and said he has what it takes to stay beyond the loan and everything to show the coaches his worth. Women becomes the second youngster from Charity Stars FC to sign for a top European side. Charity FC is fast gaining a reputation as the hub for the discovery and refinement of Ghanaian football talents. Women as to a rich history of young players produced by the club.
Novak Djokovic continued his dominance in the Australian Open by beating Daniil Medvedev to win a record-extending 9th men's title. The top seed won 7-5, 6-2, 6-2 to claim his 18th Grand Slam, leaving him 2 behind Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the men's record books.
The 33-year-old Serb has never lost a final at Melbourne Park, and beating Medvedev is a 3rd triumph in a row. Russian 4th seed Medvedev, 25, has lost both of his Grand Slam finals. After collecting the trophy, Djokovic told the Rod Laver Arena, "I love you each year, more and more. The love affair keeps going." Medvedev, who lost to Nadal in the 2019 US Open final, was tipped to push Djokovic close and win his maiden major. The Russian had reached the Melbourne final on the back of a 20-match winning streak, but flooded under the intense pressure applied by Djokovic. Djokovic clinched the title after 1 hour and 53 minutes with a backhand overhead volley, falling to the blue court on his back before lapping up the acclaim of the reduced 7,500 crowd. Djokovic roared loudly and tapped his hat before exchanging hugs with coach Goran.
Right, that's all we have for you in sports. Let's do some entertainment. And threading is one of the best ways to grow and keep one's hair, aside the other ways. In Africa, threading is cherished among women in parts of Ghana, Nigeria, and the entire sub-Saharan Africa. From the old times till now, women have used African threading to style their hair and strengthen it naturally.
African threading is as simple as parting hair into sections and using black thread to wrap each section from root to tip. Hair threading protects hair from any damage and helps to retain its length as it grows. All you need is a moisturized hair, comb, some thread, and a pair of scissors to cut the thread. African threading is best known as a way of stretching your hair. You can also use threading to style your hair. While the hair is threaded, one can style it into a simple updo, create mini braids, chunky twists, or flat twists. Threading does not damage hair like the blow dryer, which uses heat. If one is asking what can be used for threading, then consider nylon weaving threads, because that is what majority of women use, and it is the best for African threading. Other options include yarns and polyesters. It was known that in the ancient times, hair threading served as medium for grain smuggling. Your hair is your pride. Keep your hair good all the time and do that naturally.
Indeed, your hair is your pride, but that's all time will permit us here on the Midday News on Pan-African Television. Before I leave you, let's do a recap of the headlines. And Supreme Court hears petitioner's review application to reopen case. And also, over 25 houses in renewed chieftaincy conflict at Yondatemyili in the northern region burnt. And residents of Abokobi threatened showdown with Ga East Municipal Assembly over deplorable roads. And in business, government schedules payment of cocoa farmers after months of neglect. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us here on the Midday News Bulletin. My name is Makiza Micheline Latifa. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.